Okay, so there's this term you've probably heard floating around everywhere, from TikTok to, well, just about every corner of the internet: main character energy. In this explainer, we're going to break down what it is, where it came from, and honestly, what it says about how we see ourselves today. Just think about it for a second. You know that moment? Maybe you're walking down the street, the perfect song comes on in your headphones, the lighting hits just right, and for a split second, you feel like you're in a movie. And the whole scene is about you. Yeah, that feeling, that is the absolute heart of what we're talking about today.
All right, so let's get right into it. What do people actually mean when they say someone has main character energy?
So this isn't just your standard issue confidence. No, no. Main character energy is all about seeing your life as a story, a narrative that you are actively writing, directing, and starring in. It's this unique mix of being self-aware, telling a story about yourself, and, crucially, a confidence that's meant to be seen. It's performative, it's out there, and it's born right out of movie tropes and social media. But here's the thing. This idea didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's really the latest chapter in a long, long story of how we even talk about confidence. To really get what's happening now, we kind of have to look back at how we got here. You can actually trace a pretty clear line through the decades. Back in the 40s, it was all about being suave, very polished, very formal. Then the boomers made everything cool, that effortless, slightly rebellious vibe. Gen X gave us chill, which was all about being detached, very anti-tryhard. Then millennials just started calling it what it was, being confident. And that brings us to today, to Gen Z, who gave us terms like Riz and, of course, main character energy, which are all about performance and really knowing how to navigate social situations. And the slang really tells this story, doesn't it? Gen X charisma was all about being a player, being chill, laid back. The whole point was to look like you weren't even trying. Now, contrast that with Gen Z. Charisma is an active performance. It's about having riz, or that romantic charm. It's about being valid, getting that social stamp of approval. And when you do something perfectly, you ate. It's all very active and very visible. So for Gen X, confidence was totally rooted in this idea of detachment. It was cool to be a little cynical, to be laid back, and to reject anything that looked like you were trying too hard. The absolute best compliment you could get was that you were effortlessly cool. Now, for Gen Z, it's almost a total 180. Confidence is a performance. It's about being socially fluent, using humor, and telling this kind of big, self-aware story about yourself. It's not about hiding the effort you put in. It's about making the effort part of the show and being really, really good at it. And this all leads us to the core idea. What cultural shifts created this perfect storm for main character energy to even become a thing? Well, it all comes down to the power of narrative, of telling a story. This quote really nails it. There's been this fundamental shift in how we think about identity. It's not just about who you are anymore. It's about the story you're telling about who you are. You're not just the character, you're the author too. And these right here, these are the engines that are driving that whole shift. TikTok gives everyone a stage for these little life performances. Meme culture gives us all a shared language to talk about it. Things like aesthetic storytelling and self-branding give you the actual tools to design your own narrative. And underneath it all, a more fluid idea of identity means that your story can change and evolve into whatever you want it to be. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What does a trend like this really tell us about our culture? What's the bigger picture here? This right here really feels like the fundamental shift. For a lot of older generations, life was about finding your place in a world that already existed. Finding a community, a career, a social ladder to climb. But for younger generations, the focus has really shifted. Now, it's about creating your own story within that world. It's a move away from just fitting in and towards standing out as the author of your own life. And that's really what this all boils down to. Whether you call it main character energy or something else entirely, this whole trend pushes all of us to think a little bit more like storytellers. In a world where we all have the tools to broadcast our lives, maybe the most important question we can ask is, what story are you telling about yourself?